Hello, my name is Andrew, and today we're talking about the pros and the cons of the Xero Dillon versus the Xero Dillon leather. So starting off, both Dillons have the same toe box shape. It's squared off on the side and then a little bit tapered on the outside, and the bottom of the shoe is closer to medium wide, but the Dillon leather is a little bit closer to medium because, especially out of the box, the leather doesn't stretch as much as the mesh. Although after a few weeks of wearing it, the leather will start to conform to your foot a little bit. The original Dillon definitely feels a little bit wider though, and there's a bit of stretch to the mesh. Plus you can really open the laces up, so if you're someone with high volume feet, this is a great pick. With the Dillon leather, like I said, there's a little more constriction, and when you bend your foot, the top of the leather can press more than a synthetic material, but the leather is pretty thin and it's pretty soft, so I didn't get any hard feeling from it. Also, because of the sheen, it's very water resistant, so it's a better option for cold to mid weather, whereas the original Dillon has some perforation here and then on the sides as well. So it's a better pick for summer, but it's not a completely open mesh. You can see that there are double layers there, so it does cut a little bit of wind and it can handle a bit of misting or light rain, but it's gonna get through the perforation pretty fast. Sometimes with leather shoes, I have an issue with the ankle where it's like poking me on the bone, you know, but a couple of things I like about the Dillon, it's lower cut and then the leather is quite soft, so you can see it really squishes down well, so it's not creating any hard spots in your ankle bone. It's a leather lining on the sides as well, so I think the Dillon leather smells a little bit better. You could also wear it barefoot if you want, but well, I think the original Dillon is comfortable enough in terms of softness to wear it barefoot. It's usually not a good idea of synthetic because it develops a smell since it's not antimicrobial like natural materials, but both shoes have the same synthetic footbed and it has a little tiny bit of squish to it, so even though the sole is more firm, which we're going to talk about, it does feel like a nice springy shoe. And because of that, I don't think the insole is really necessary. I usually just throw the stock insoles out of my barefoot shoes and either wear them without an insole or go with a wool felt insole. I like these because they're thinner, they're more flexible, they don't really interfere with ground feel at all. They're also temperature regulating, moisture wicking, and they just smell better than synthetic. And then for socks, I always use merino wool and gingies. They're nice because they spread out your toes, so it gets a little more airflow going in there. And then they're wool, just like the insole, so really good breathability and antimicrobial properties, etc. Back to the ankle, the original Dillon is just as good as the leather. Very soft, doesn't rub anywhere, so great job to Xero on that. For the sole, it's 5.5 millimeters. This is the same type of tread that they have on the Xero Denver. It's really versatile because it has some good protection, lots of density here, but still plenty of flex for rolling down smoothly on pavement, as well as some nice grippiness if you want to do light to moderate trails. Although I will say the original is the more sporty of the two because the upper is lighter, just a little bit more flexible, whereas the leather has a tiny bit more structure to it. So if you want to do it all shoe that looks nice for casual, but that you can also use for training, like maybe at the gym or some slow runs, the original is great with that extra breathability and flex, whereas the Xero Dillon leather is more classy and something you'd wear into the office or other semi-formal occasions. So yeah, those are the pros and the cons of the Xero Dillon versus the leather, but if you'd like to support the channel, you can shop with the referral links down below, browse and filter more products with the shoe finder tool, my website barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the Xero Dillon or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, catch you next time, peace!